Southbound side of the 110 freeway.
Baby,
he got off at Manchester
jungle.
very briefly
xQc
and then got right back on the freeway. This was after weaving through Southwest LA for a good 5, maybe even 10 minutes
Who
or so.
repaired it?
At some points getting in the wrong way.
Dude, I just blinked. I had to put eye drops. Who repaired the fucking
car?
car?
110 freeway.
What?
LAPD with a full pursuit package here. 3 black and whites right behind him, attempting to
Chat,
head
I know who
off
fixed it.
to California Highway Patrol if it stays on the freeway. Right now, they're transitioning through LAX's airspace here. We're coming up on the 105 freeway. Right now, it appears to be committed to the southbound 110 here. We'll see if that changes. There's a lot of ramps here as we make our way along the west side here. He's behind that ramp right there. You can see it looks like he might be transitioning. Just very hard to tell. Is he coming this way? Westbound 105? Westbound 105, getting onto the 105 freeway, which is the less traveled freeway. If you look up and down the 105, very heavy traffic coming towards us on the eastbound side. He is now heading away from us on the westbound side of the 105 freeway, again heading back through Linwood here. So we're going to continue to follow this pursuit. Unknown what the want is. We do not know how many people are inside the vehicle at this point.
Oh no, no fly zone
inside that vehicle, but he does appear to be pretty desperate to get away from those pursuing officers.
The oddest thing, Chris, that vehicle looked like it was losing the front left tire, really wobbling.
Let me look at
it
that.
looked like he'd run over a spike strip, but then now as I look at it, it's almost righted itself. Can you see any kind of instability on that front left wheel? Because it looks as if it's better now. I've never seen that.
So it was a little unclear. Well, yeah, you're right. It was a little unclear whether it was a tire that was running flat or if the actual axle was destabilized. I can't tell. It looks as if he picks up
Is that what that now, Jet?
it seems to be wobbling a little bit less. What I can tell you is he has been in at least one, maybe even more minor collisions during the course of this pursuit. And I'm talking about real love taps, gentle bumper-to-bumper type stuff, but nothing major. There's no major damage obvious other than the stability of that front left wheel. So again, whether it's the tire
they're not letting this one go,
or now it appears that it's more likely the rim or the axle
Chat,
that was for some reason
4 squad on this motherfucker. Probably 1 PD, 3 to news, but chat, they are not letting this guy go, trust me.
More stable as we peer up on this pursuit from the rear. Coming up on the rear here, it looks like the vehicle is behaving okay, at least for the time being.
Well, and again, as you head westbound on the 105, we mentioned it a moment ago, you're starting to get near LAX. So how long until you're going to have some difficulties following this pursuit?
Well, as long as he's on the 105 freeway, we're going to maintain the south side here, and we should be able to transition through Hawthorne. We're coming up on Hawthorne Airport.
Oh, the lights on, lights on.
He starts to pull over to the right.
Old car.
So if you're looking at it from our angle here,
what the fuck is this car?
He is traveling from east to west.
Yo, get this piece of shit off the road, man. What the fuck?
The area north of the 105 and west of the 110 freeway. That's where things get hairy, not only for us up here in Air 7, but also for that LAPD air support helicopter, which is why they have invited those ground units to re-engage the pursuit. For some time, they put it in the tracking mode, and once he got close to LAX's airspace, they started the pursuit once again. It looks like
everybody says it. Defund the police, defund the police. Bro, now we got a fucking 1998 fucking Crown Vic on the fucking top of this chase, man. Are you kidding me?
Through South LA with no intention of slowing down whatsoever. And again, the one thing we really are unclear about is how all of this started. What precipitated this pursuit is still very much a question mark, but there does appear to be clear intent on his part to get away. And
chat, they're chasing close. Rare.
Not let that happen. So now he's making a right turn. He's going to be heading westbound on 120th Street, away from Crenshaw Boulevard.
Chris, what is the initial reason for the stop, though? What is the initial pursuit reason?
Not obeying red lights. That has been the pattern throughout this pursuit.
Well, Chris, Giovanna Lara is now stepping in for Colleen Sullivan. So this is special coverage of a police pursuit. I'm Philip Palmer along with Giovanna Lara, and we at this point still do not know what this Jeep is wanted for, but as you can see, Giovanna, a very close pursuit with ground officers and from the air as far as LAPD choppers. They're right behind this guy.
Yeah, and just nobody knows what that means, man. Mentioned, I have a question, Chris.
What
we
is
know
GSP?
for sure that this driver is alone in that vehicle, or is that still unclear as well?
We don't know. Very much unclear at this point whether there's anybody else inside that vehicle. We do not know whether he is armed or whether LAPD has any of that intelligence or whether they are operating
Georgia State Police
blind.
is
Again,
dog
we don't know
shit.
how all this started. He's now making a left turn off of 120th, southbound now on Prairie Avenue.
It's the Wild West.
Hawthorne. That's going to take him away from LAX's airspace, gives us an opportunity to catch up with him. It also gives
I've seen the videos.
Helicopter the opportunity to maintain a visual. And now I am hearing Giovanna and Philip that this is a stolen vehicle. So a stolen vehicle now in a parking lot here, heading in through a liquor store, trying to come out the other side on Broadway. This is
what a juke! What a juke! Holy!
Like you can tell.
Well, now we've got a chance to show some video earlier. You can see how this vehicle is maneuvering, but take a look at the video here earlier. You can see the crazy moment that vehicle looked like. That front wheel was just absolutely unstable, and it almost appeared it was just getting onto the freeway. It looked at it as if he'd hit a spike strip and the tire was about to just shred apart. No idea how all of a sudden the vehicle becomes so stable that he's able to maneuver through a parking lot and start weaving through traffic again. That image, those images you see on the right there, was earlier.
Cross traffic.
So we were able to get that
call.
video for you to show what we were talking about, because it did look like this vehicle was unstable. And now look at how he's able to turn and weave in and out of traffic. Chris, I've never seen
some
something
Jeep
like
technology
that, to go from
self-repair bots
instability to this driver being able to weave in and out of traffic again and just suddenly have a vehicle that's maneuverable again.
I'm totally with you, Philip. Never seen anything like that. I mean, that wheel almost looked like it was about to come off, and now the vehicle is behaving almost completely
Good day, Mr.
normal.
Cal.
As
Can
we
I
look
be
at it from
unbanned
the
from
driver's
kick?
side here,
As far I
we
can
were paying
recall, my
attention to that
only
front
sin
left
was using
wheel, now
those
making
green
another left
kick
turn here
emotes. I
onto
don't chat much,
133rd
but
Street,
can no
coming
longer
towards us.
say I
We're going to get a
enjoyed
better
my
shot
stays
of the
dud.
passenger side of the
Miles,
vehicle
you
to
should
see if there's any misbehavior by either of those wheels. But right now, that vehicle is traveling in a
Can't see the
straight
driver,
line
man.
directly towards us, and for the first time, we can peer through that driver's side window, that driver's windshield, and it does appear there is a passenger inside of the vehicle. So to answer Giovanna's question, we now know of at least two people inside of the stolen vehicle, and getting a little bit of a closer shot here through that tinted window on the driver's side as he picks up some speed here. And I can't tell, honestly, whether
looks
it's
like a
man
white
or
dude.
woman, quite frankly, but he is now, again, southbound on Prairie Avenue.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. And as you were talking, he ran a stop sign. You mentioned his speed is increasing. He's crossing the double yellow lines right now against traffic. Look at this. So definitely
let me guess.
driving
Let me guess.
dangerously.
That's called
it's some crazy like reverse invented double reverse racism or something like that, where just commenting on what I'm seeing is now somehow racist in the inverse of the possibility of, like, dude, shut up, chat. Christ, you guys need to fucking pipe down.
Even making contact with some of these innocent drivers on the road here. So now he's in a much more congested, more narrow area here on Cordary Avenue, off of Prairie, and you can see, I'm sorry, let me just lower this radio really quick here. Southbound on Cordary Avenue, and still continuing down this.
Well, do I chase it so much? I chase it because it showcases a lot of different levels of criminality, but
now coming out on a
police response on the fly.
Avenue, now coming westbound on Rosecrans, slowing down a little bit. We'll go ahead and widen out to see how far back those LAPD units are. They are trying to catch up, but as you can tell, they have pulled back just a little bit, whether they were unable to squeeze through traffic. Between those cars here. Look at this. That was a wild move there.
He's going to accelerate. He's going to go on foot. His wheels probably just busted.
I'm not sure why he might be even coming to a stop here at Foothill or Fonthill Avenue.
Yes.
Rosecrans, LAPD now out of their vehicle. Guns drawn, aimed squarely at the driver's side of that Jeep as he comes to a full stop here.
Yeah, his car busted probably.
For no apparent reason. Not sure if the vehicle is giving up or if the suspect has just decided to surrender. It looks like it might be a female driver with a passenger now stepping out of the vehicle. You can see them with their hands up. And this has come to a random and sudden stop as they appear to be willing to
What's going on here, man?
After some dangerous driving and at times going the wrong way, including the very end there, swerving across the oncoming lanes of Rosecrans Avenue, now surrendering to these LAPD officers on Fonthill. A very sudden end here, and we don't know how much more that vehicle had left in it, but obviously it doesn't really matter at this point. Finally, fortunately, this has come to a peaceful resolution, it appears, as at least 2 people are getting out of that vehicle. They will eventually check the back seats and make sure that vehicle is empty.
Yeah, it is great to see that they are cooperating with authorities, and she stepped out of the car almost seemingly like, what's wrong?
Who's leading this shit? Give instructions, man.
I can say that her demeanor getting out of that vehicle could have gotten her in a lot of trouble. The way she was acting almost as if, why are you following me if I'm reading body language? And that's the kind of thing where you should probably just do what they say in that moment. But yeah, you're right, Giovanna. At least all's over, and it does look as if they have gotten this over. But Chris, to your point, she just drove into oncoming traffic to stop on a side street, and then now they'll clear the rest of the vehicle.
I think something probably happened with the wheel probably when they did left turn.
And the driver
I don't really know.
is just so odd, the whole thing.
Yeah. This is just weird.
It's just a prime example of how you just can never really understand what is going through somebody's head when they put on this kind of a display behind the wheel there. I mean, we saw so much unpredictability there, making very random turns, really speeding to try and get away from those pursuing officers with no intention of slowing down, and then randomly coming to a complete stop right here.
This needs to stop talking. This needs to stop talking. As a passenger, with how fast they were going and shit like that, you can make a good argument that he had no opportunity to get out of the car ever, because the change was fast the whole time. These guys just talking for what? Dumbass. What's wrong with this guy?
He was able to recover, regain full control, and continue maneuvering the vehicle as if nothing was wrong whatsoever. But for whatever reason,
not really. I know what I'm talking about. You're dumb.
Nobody has been hurt here.
Well, I got a text from someone who owns a Jeep, and they were explaining to me, it's actually a coworker, that it's called a death wobble, and that some Jeeps, after they reach a certain speed, will start to wobble like that and lose control. And it's a repairable item that some people don't get fixed. It usually happens in the older Jeeps. That does appear as if it's a newer Jeep. Don't know if that's what happened. But they were explaining to me that in some cases that has happened in the past. So not sure that that's what it was, but certainly it could have been. So just for people to know.
Thank you, random texter.
That's a possible explanation. The frustrating thing about all of this is that they put so many people, so many commuters